Christopher, and I'm here with DJ Archer, a guy of World Series of Bowling fame. We're here to do he's going to be my guinea pig. We're going to do a chat about a few of the storm balls that are out. So, DJ, I want to say thanks for joining me today and kind of going with the experiment with me.
Thanks a lot, Daryl. Thanks for having me.
So, what we're going to talk about today is we're going to try to highlight the storms just come out with, and some of the ones that may be coming out. Some of the ones that may be coming out in the future. Storm has hit us with some good stuff later. They've been on. So start with the stuff that's already out, DJ. The one I've seen you throw in the league, the one you can look pretty good when I see it, is the freaking Frantic. What can you tell us about this ball that you like?
You know, the thing about the freaking Frantic is it's very, very smooth through the middle part of the lane and has a very sharp back end. You know, with my ball motion, I really like to see bowling balls, you know, get down the lane and then make that type of L shape on the back end. You know, more, you know, to some other players, you know, might like a C shape. You know, I'm looking for an L shape, you know, for a bowling ball that's going to be very, very smooth through the middle part of the lane and have a very, very sharp back end. So, you know, some of the league shots that, you know, that you and I bowl on Tuesday night there at the league, you know, the lanes are very dry, you know, so the ball is a very, very, you know, very good complement, you know, to some of my other storm pieces, such as, you know, another bowling ball we're going to talk about later on is the Lights Out. You know, it's a lot stronger down the lane than I believe the Lights Out. So usually, normally towards the second or third game, you know, I can change that ball, and the Lights Out is a little bit more smoother compared to the freaking Frantic.
And see, one of the things that I think we always talk about is you touched on the house shot stuff. What about on a sport condition? Can the freaking Frantic help a bowler out when they're maybe a little more sensitive in the back?
Yeah, I think, you know, a lot of these sport conditions are kind of like, you know, comparable to the patterns that we bowl on tour. You know, to me, the freaking Frantic and the weaker balls do a little bit better for me when there's a little bit more oil in the front. Because the ball, you know, those balls like to change direction so much. They get through the front part of the lane, and then they hook on the back end, obviously, you know, when they're a little bit drier. So, to me, on a sport condition pattern, the balls roll a little bit better when there's some more head oil, you know, per se, you know, if they're a little bit drier in the front. Now, don't get me wrong, you know, I have used the bowling balls when they get drier in the front. But for me, you know, to have the most success I've had with those, with the freaking Frantic, is going to be when there's a little bit more oil in the front part of the lane.
And what type of ball? And I know we always say every ball can work for every ball. But what kind of bowler would really benefit from a ball like the freaking Frantic?
You know, I think a bowler that's going to, you know, pretty much fall in love with this bowling ball is going to be someone with a lot of hand. You know, it's obviously it's going to be good for any player, but it's going to most benefit a bowler with a lot of hand that likes to create a lot of torque at the bottom. So it's going to give them you know, a much smoother shape in the front part until it gets down the lane, and then it's going to do a lot of change of direction. So I think a bowler with a lot of hand is going to you know, pretty much this ball is going to fit right in their arsenal.
You can find the freaking Frantic at BowlerX.com. It's very, very good. Let's move on to the Lights Out. It's another ball that came out. DJ, what can you tell us about the Lights Out? It's a very, very attractive color, I'll say that.
Right, and it smells really good too, Daryl. I don't know if you've got a chance to put your nose to those storm balls, but that Lights Out smells really, really good. But from my experience with the Lights Out, it's going to be a little bit straighter than the freaking Frantic. You know, it's going to go, it's going to be a little bit more down the lane. You know, it's going to still have that L shape that a lot of the bowlers look for, you know, in a bowling ball, but it's going to be a lot smoother. You know, it's not going to go too crazy on the back end. So I like to use the Lights Out when the freaking Frantic is starting to hook too much on the back.
So it sounds like we have a couple balls, especially for guys that are bowling summer leagues. That they can get out and make some good hay out there. One of the balls that's coming out, and it's probably going to sell itself, but I do want to touch on it because it seems to be the ball that anticipated more than most of summer, and it's a ball high road. From Mike Flanagan, and he said that this is the ball in 5 years in the making. Can you tell us a little bit about what to expect with this Pearl High Road, who I just saw, I think they pushed the release date back on there, trying to make us work for it a little bit.
Yeah, and like you said, Daryl, that bowling ball is pretty much going to sell itself. How good the high road was, in the when the first high road was released. I mean, that ball was absolutely amazing. It kind of goes into the range, and I don't want to get off on another bowling ball, but the Black Taboo, those bowling balls just sold themselves. The Black Taboo, the high road, and I expect the same thing from the Pearl high road. I just, obviously, just with a little bit more pearl, I'm going to think that it's going to be a little bit cleaner in the front and have a little bit more pop on the back. And nowadays, a lot of bowlers, that's what they look for. They want to see their ball, skid and go sideways on the back, which is okay. It's totally fine. But I mean, I'm just excited as anyone else. And I know a lot of the other tour players on tour that are on Storm staff are just excited as I am. I mean, pretty much, like you said, 5 years in the making. It's kind of like every time they bring, I don't want to say a remake of one of those balls, because they are adding pearl to it. I think it's going to be a phenomenal piece of a piece of work.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of check mark stuff, right? For those guys that haven't gone to the National yet, give me a ball that they can look for to take out there and have some success with it. And I understand it's putting you on the spot. You don't know everybody's game. But give me a ball that we can look to have some success. And I want to know this because I go the weekend after July 4th.
Yeah, and actually, I haven't been yet. I haven't been to Nationals yet. I go in 2 weeks. But a lot of the players that I've seen scored, and I've talked to a couple of bowlers, like the guy leading, John Serbinsky. Obviously, it's on the Storm Bowling website. But they've been using a lot of the disturbs and IQs and stuff like that. Some stronger, because I heard the team pattern is playing a little bit tighter than normal. So bowlers are using a little bit stronger balls with stronger surface. They can play more to the right, and until it breaks down, and then just kind of follow it in. So I think a disturbed. I think an IQ tour, the black solid, and then obviously if you're going to use the IQ tour, I think you would go to the gold ball. So I think the gold ball is going to be a very good. It's going to be able to let you move in and and go around a little bit more. Now I think in the doubles and singles, Daryl, the pattern's a little bit shorter, so I think the disturb is probably not going to be as good. I think it's going to be well for bowlers that have a little bit less hand than you and I, and they can stay more to the right. And then bowlers with a little bit of hand, the gold ball, the I want to say like the freaking frantic. I think it's going to be a great bowling ball for doubles and singles. So I'll have mine freshed up, ready to go, and we'll be looking to throw a lot of strikes in a couple of weeks.
And I'm glad you said that, because both the Disturb and IQ Pro should be on my doorstep today. So you're making me feel better about that, DJ. Now I want to take you back a little bit. Tell us what it was like at the World Series of Bowling. You obviously made the final with Carmen Salvino, ran into a bit of a buzzsaw there, and you got a lot of time with the Town Muscle. How was the World Series of Bowling experience for you?
Anytime you can be competitive and bowl against the greatest bowlers in the world, it's something that I take in every day. I've been doing it a long time, and I've learned a lot. I kind of got off to a slow start in my career, but I feel like the last couple of years, with the experiences and everything's starting to set in. It's taken some time, but the experience of bowling against those guys and getting back on TV. It was just kind of something that I cherish, and it makes me want to get better. And right now, the last few years is, in my career, I've been really pushed. I've been really motivated, to kind of see what's going on, and to know that I'm still competitive enough to be against those guys. So, every time we get together, in a World Series venue, where we have 4 or 5 tournaments, it's very exciting. It's very, kind of emotional to me, because I know now that I made the TV show in Detroit, I know it's there, so I'm always wanting to get better and just do the best that I can and make sure, take every shot, one shot at a time, every day is a different day, and we just go forward from there.
When's the next time we'll see you out there?
I'm planning on bowling the U.S. Open in the middle of July. It's kind of one of those things where the U.S. Open is one of the toughest patterns that we do bowl on. So it makes me want to go out and practice, and it's something. If I don't get the practice before the event, it's going to be one of those things where it's gonna really suffer me. So hopefully, I'm 95% sure I'm going to be at the U.S. Open. They have a big regional in Chicago the week before that's paying $15,000 for first that I plan on bowling. So and if something comes up and I'm able not to make that, then I'll be back in Vegas for the World Series of Bowling in October.
Well, DJ, thanks for coming on with us. Hey, I really appreciate taking a little chance with me doing this little experiment. Guys, you can find all these great products at Disturbed if you're going nationals, at Couture Pro if you're going to nationals, Freaking Frantic Lights Out, and the Hyro Pro when it comes out. I think it's July 15th now on BowlerX.com. Make sure you go there. DJ, thanks, fans. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
Hey, Daryl, thanks a lot, and you guys have a good day over there.
Everybody have a good day, and keep bowling those strikes.